public comment. We actually are gonna have a motion.
Okay.
It's gonna be our first motion before the regular reports. It's regarding the hiring of,
Is there an issue?
Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm restarting the meeting. I have people, participants are there, but I don't have it on my screen. You guys can't see anything on your screen either?
I can see a small box up there on the.
You just gotta, yeah, you gotta maximize that. All right.
Okay.
There you go.
I can't see that far away, guys. Sorry about that.
Sure.
All right, so we're gonna go into, public comment for agenda-related items. Who would like to be the first one? Tim,
I think.
hold on one second, hold on one second. We'll wait for you, Allison.
I'm sorry.
No, take a second. Just let me know when you're ready. Just hold up.
Paola? We're all set. Come on. Thank you. He can't miss this. Too many things. Okay,
Good, ready?
I'm ready. Sorry about that.
Tim,
So I noticed on the agenda, under the mayor, it says newsletter, and I'm just curious, what that's all about, since it's, really doesn't detail anything, and I'd like to be able to reserve any comment until it comes up in the agenda. Cause I would like to hear what Larry has to say before I make comments.
well, you wanna give them some more detail, so they can make a comment about it?
I'll wait till it comes up on the agenda.
And I don't know if there's gonna be any official action, Mayor just may have said
Yeah,
something to
there's
say
no-
about it, if there's no
There's no
action,
motion.
then you can comment
a
on it
resolution.
afterwards, at the end of the comment session, the end comment session. If there's a motion, we'll make sure you have an opportunity. to
I don't
say
think there's gonna be a motion, or whether there is or isn't, I'd like to hear what he has to say before I make any comment.
Right, but then since it's not detailed, you could make a comment in
And the second
the
comment.
second comment section.
All right, second comment related to the agenda. Going once, going twice. All right, end of comment period. We're gonna go right into the treasurer's report. First item under the treasurer's report is a vote to ratify the repair of the Borough Hall toilet in the amount of $655. I need a motion to ratify that repair that was already made.
I make a motion to ratify the repair that was made.
Lisa makes the motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we need a vote to ratify vote to approve a cemetery survey in the amount of $500. That already took place, right?
It's been ordered.
Okay. All
I
right,
just need to ratify it.
So-
I'll make that motion.
all right, so Jack makes the motion, do we have a second?
I can second.
Bill seconds the motion, do we, are there any, comment on that? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Cemetery Association thanks you.
I wanna thank Missy because $500 is very reasonable.
Thank you,
To
Mrs.
survey that
Thank
line. So thank you.
Thank you, Missy.
Much
Do you know when
appreciated.
they might be stopping by?
I will ask survey tomorrow.
Well, I'm only asking because if I could be there, because I know a little bit about what the
Okay.
line and
Yeah.
what the company.
Well, I'll keep you informed as to when.
Thank you.
I was just laughing, you're like, thank you for the good price, and can you get it done as soon as possible?
More than that, I just-
And by the way, can you be there tomorrow?
What she didn't tell you is that for $500, she just goes out there and eyeballs it.
Okay, go ahead.
Now we need a vote to ratify and approve the payment for the garage door repairs in the amount of $801. We have, someone like to make that motion? Derek makes the motion.
No, Derek makes it.
Motion. With a second?
I'll second.
Jack seconds the motion. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we got, we need a motion to approve the treasurer's report, including the account payable.
I make a motion to approve the treasurer's report, including the accounts payable.
Lisa makes that motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Terry seconds the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we need a motion to approve the minute meeting of the council minutes, council meeting from October 2nd. Who would like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Derek makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Lisa seconds the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Can I add one thing?
Yes, sir.
On the cemetery, the money that was coming your way, it was discussed, and it's important that it be known that it's 1 year, one group, one amount of money.
One and done.
It's not something that you could plan every year to get money.
That's fine. I mean, as long as we get some,
Oh, yeah, but,
To-
okay,
to-
I
to
think it's
take the trees
important that
down.
for your planning, you know that you won't be getting it every year.
Well, you're on the board, you guide us, so.
We may still ask every year.
Well,
It's,
So he
you can
jumped
say
across
no.
We just wanted the same deal as you gave the fire department, that's all.
We just wanna take care of those trees and help out, so.
Well, this year has been unusual because of the tree issue that we have. We
Yeah.
had 2 trees fell actually in the cemetery, the entire tree.
Yeah.
We've been extremely lucky that they didn't damage any stones. The one trees that has the most potential to damage stones is an ash tree that lays right on the property line between the apartment complex and the cemetery. Some of the stones underneath that, 1800s.
Yep.
So, yeah, liability insurance will pay for a new stone, but that's a stone from 1800. So we really need to, if anything else, a lot of trees need to come down, but that one really needs to be addressed, so.
And I would say the maple trees in the front, because that's the last one that came down was a maple tree, and they're probably all about the same year, same age, so.
Gonna have to spend the money wisely.
But then, so that money would be used to pay the arborists who come in and
Well,
take
we're
down
gonna,
whatever trees are.
That's the money that's in a budget that hasn't been passed yet, so I think
Yes.
we can
yeah.
Right,
reserve conversation on.
right, yeah.
All right, so let's go
Sorry,
into.
I'm just trying
It's not a done deal, we understand,
Thank you.
I understand.
All right, so we're gonna go out of order for,
Moving
we're gonna,
along.
we're gonna take the first item in new business, which is a motion to hire Callum, right? Not Caleb, Callum.
Yep.
Callum, Whiffen as a part-time superintendent, and I'm gonna let Deb say the terms, cause she's got it on her.
It's at a rate of $27 per hour for 30 hours a week or 1,560 hours annually with 24/7 on-call availability.
During the snow.
Well, yeah, or
Events,
something else massive
snow
happens,
events.
like a weather event type of thing.
All right. So we need someone to make that motion.
I'll make the motion.
All right, so Jack makes the motion, we need a second.
Second.
All right, and Lisa seconds the motion, any discussion? The only discussion I would add is that, we interviewed Callum and he was exemplary and Personnel Committee fully recommended him. Any other discussion on, the hiring of, Mr. Whiffen? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Callum, you're our new superintendent. Thank you, sir.
Welcome aboard.
All right, so motion passes unanimously. All right, now we're gonna go back to, reports, and we have superintendent's report, but since Chris was leaving and Callum's taking over, we don't have a report this month, correct?
Correct.
But, you know, we'll start working on reports for the next month.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right, thank you very much. And now we go to mayor's report, Larry.
So I only have a couple things. One is, 6/11, I don't know, I've been trying to let people know exactly what's going on. Seems there's been some forward momentum finally. They're going to be doing 2 phases. The first phase is, scaling and removing loose rock and some vegetation, on the affected site. The site, that PennDOT is allowed to work in has already been surveyed and flagged, so they have to remain in that area as they work. And then phase 2 is doing work outside of PennDOT's right of way, and that will need a separate environmental clearance. There is no estimate on time when phase 2 will even be completed. Phase one, once it's allowed to take place, will probably take about 6 months, maybe less. After phase one is completed, they are going to open up a single lane with controlled traffic lights on either side. So the push and the push and the push to at least get a single lane through there, looks like it's gonna happen. I'm told the reason they don't wanna do it during or before phase one is because obviously scaling, we're gonna have some rocks falling down, we're gonna have some loose things going on, they don't want anybody on the roads end. And they will not certify it safe to travel while they're doing phase one. So we're still looking at probably spring, sometime in the spring, early summer, that will at least get a single lane and open up 611 down toward Portland. And anything new that comes back, this all came from PennDOT, they emailed me directly, I will certainly let everybody know. And just quickly shift over to the cemetery, our lantern walk was successful as it is every year. Terry is our historian that gives that walk. We raised almost $150 that day for the cemetery. 50 people total attended. Yeah, which is really good. If you haven't done that, it's a really neat thing to do, and you get to learn a lot about the history of the people that came before us that are buried in our cemetery. It's a very, very interesting walk. You do one in the afternoon and one in the evenings. We did 2 showings of movies in the cemetery. The last one was probably the better one because the temperatures were a little bit warmer. The ambiance was there because it was a full moon, and it was actually quite fun. We ended up doing a double feature. We had food and snacks and all that stuff. I think we raised about $130 that night. But it seems to be something that may catch on later if we do this every year. We could have more and more people in. There were a couple of hiccups. Our generator crapped out on us. Thank God Vanita was there from the apartment complex. We just plugged into somebody's porch there, and that worked for a couple of hours. So anyway, it was a really great thing for the cemetery, and it raised a little bit of money for us anyway. And of course, Wreaths Across America is vastly approaching. November 28th is the last day that we have to send our money in for Wreaths being sponsored. We have 144 veterans in our cemetery, and we need to sponsor each one of those. This year, prices of the wreaths went up $2. The organization fought to try to not let that happen, but at some point, you don't have a choice. So it went from $15 to $17. We've been getting a lot of mail-ins, which has been really great. We appreciate your support. But any support that you can give, I believe, Allison, do you have a form here? I forgot to
I have
ask
a form,
you.
I have one check in the safe for you guys.
Okay,
too.
so you can come in here, you can see me, you can see Tim, Desiree, Tammy, anybody, and turn in your check. December 16th is the date. It starts promptly at noon. It's important to note that when it starts, it's starting at the same time across the entire country. So every participating cemetery is laying their wreaths on their veterans' graves at noon, which is a pretty neat thing, and that includes Arlington National Cemetery. Wreath sales are going pretty good, but we really could use your help if you're considering purchasing a wreath. Again, they're $17, they're easy to grab. And then we'd like to see you there on the 16th to help lay the wreaths. It's always a great thing to have. Last year's keynote speaker was incredible. He's a Navy ship captain, active Navy ship captain. He drove 6 hours here, gave a 30-minute speech, turned around and drove 6 hours back to where he had to go. That's how incredible that was. It was a really neat and powerful speech. This year, I think we're still working on a keynote speaker, but it'll definitely happen. So once again, any help you can provide, we appreciate it. And that's all I have.
But, and we'll have some heat this year too.
Might have a little heat, so
Yeah.
people are afraid of the chilly weather.
Mayor Freshcorn, with regards to the 611 repairs, when Mr. Kufro from PennDOT was here, I asked him to consider putting a temporary, what we talked about in the past, a temporary traffic light so that we could get in and out of the community.
Yeah.
And I also put that in the ear of our state representative, because although they told me the 2-directional light will be, they said, oh no, it won't be right here, it'll be further up.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I've seen those kind of repairs where there was a one switching, and it'll end up being backed up where we can't get in and out. So I'll continue, if that's okay, to put that in their ear that we will need. The PennDOT exec said, well, we'll consider that when the repairs start.
Yeah.
But I also have been working on, the state rep, so that she can mention it, that we need that for safety and egress and
We have to
access
remember-
to the community.
Once 611 opens, even single lane, when there's a hiccup on 80, they come through here. And even with a single lane, they'll try to come through here.
Mhm.
So a traffic light like you're suggesting will certainly help.
Yeah, I'm touting an emergency management
Yeah.
issue, safety, all that, cause any little thing would back us up and we wouldn't be able to get out of here.
Yeah, we wouldn't have an exit
So-
strategy through town, so,
We'll keep pushing that,
yep, any help you need from me, let me know.
sure thing.
All right, you wanna roll right into police report?
Police report?
Appointed police-
Okay, so police report, so police department responded to 6 calls for service, a total of 11 house and property checks conducted. Those are where people request that we look in on their place as they're out on vacation. A total of 7 directed patrols completed, police department budget meeting with the borough officials, Jim was there. I wasn't able to make it, so he was able to answer questions to the budget committee. 1 employment background check was completed, and the department electronic speed and speed timing devices were calibrated and recertified. So those are, we have 2 different ones, one that's mounted in the car that we use, they're all done by timing. And then another one is a special stopwatch. Those have to be calibrated and certified at certain times to make them, worthy in court. Taser battery and cartridge quotes have been requested through Axon. So our tasers are outdated and the battery is, I think Jim said the battery's actually no good. So he's getting quotes for those items, and then we'll turn them into the budget committee. Ammo price quotes were requested, department qualifications and requalifications, that'll also go back to the budget committee. Uniform crime reports were submitted to the state police, and a demonstration of the enterprise records management reporting system was attended at the Monroe County Control Center. So Jim is looking at a new records management system, the one that we currently have. We don't have any online help if we have hiccups or signing on. Jim has not actually been able to use it, and that's not good. Police department needs to be able to do background checks and get updates on crime around the area and people like that. So we're looking at maybe switching over to a new records management system, one that's more, one that we can get fixed if we need to, and one that's used by a lot of the departments around the area, including ESU. Personnel, 1 police officer candidate was interviewed, further action pending receipt of comprehensive application and background investigations. That'll all come through. We'll wait on personnel on that. Incident calls for service, March bus station assisted other agencies, Stroud Regional Police Department checking area for a robbery suspect. Fox Hill Road, motor vehicle accident. Shepherd Mincy, reckless driving complaint, warning issued. Main Street EMS requested for general illness. Main Street dispute. Mountain Road welfare check. And then of course the vehicles, a Crown Vic, no maintenance issues, 28 miles use, expedition, no maintenance issues, 55 miles use. And that's the end of the report. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Fire department report, chief.
For the month of October, the fire department had 5 calls, 3 medical, 1 auto alarm, 1 MVA. Our SCBA will be in service at the end of the month. We held a comedy show at the Sycamore Inn, it went well, and we'll probably be having another one in the spring.
Thank you. You wanna roll into emergency management coordinator report?
Sure. I've been working on the plan still, made contact with a few of the businesses personally and by phone. They checked names and numbers and still if they were still gonna be involved in the plan. So progress.
2 years later.
Howard, I got a letter.
Okay, thank you.
Engineer reports.
The only item I have to report on is the paving project that's been completed. All the punch list items have been completed. And on new business, there's 2 items for action. That's change order number 2 for a cost reduction of $39,603.10 for the work that was performed. And then payment application number 1, which requests a payment of $109,349.38. So those are both under new business for discussion and action.
Sir.
Okay,
Huh.
anything else?
Yeah,
That's,
no,
that's all I
That's
have.
all good.
no, I concur. I mean, Missy and the engineering, have evaluated and checked out the work that was done. I think we need to move forward and get these people paid.
Absolutely.
So I'd make a motion that we do so.
It's in there.
Okay.
Just to point out, the $109,000 is not full payment because they had punch list items to complete. I did get a new request today. I haven't had a chance to look at it, so that'll be on the December council meeting for a final
And
payment.
that was in our pay bill, unpaid bills.
And we're holding back.
Yes,
We're
you
holding
are.
back to do that.
You
so
are.
I read through all that. It seemed
Yep.
very good.
Yep.
And I thought the paving project was well done and well supervised.
Yes, it's good.
So I think, hopefully the residents are happy with what was done for the price, especially the reduction, which keeps our
Yes,
dollars and cents.
it was good news.
Liquid fuels,
Yeah.
excellent. Yeah, we saved $39,000 off the bottom line, so. So we're able to go forward with those other 3 things, which Bob Markey already took care of the cul-de-sac. Did you see that, Missy, up there? Where we had to dig up, I don't know if you guys.
I
were
did
involved
not
in
see that.
Yeah, the sewer pipe, that was taken care of. Derek, you're aware of that? He used the pressure. Yeah,
Unclog the pipe and replace
unplugged the pipe,
pipe.
was able to fix it, so those folks should be happy there.
Anything else, Missy?
That's it.
Zoning officer, doesn't look like we have Mike in with us. Anything from the solicitor?
The only thing I was gonna comment on, because I don't see it on here, is that what was it that was sold on municipal?
The backhoe,
Backhoe. Yeah, just to generally, just let folks know that it was sold for,
I mean, I think we can let them know, but it's signed in we.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was
actually
just-
entered
it was
an
just-
agreement.
Just
yeah,
an
no,
update
it's just
on-
an update that
Yeah, I took it off because I knew we didn't have to vote on it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it should be brought up, so
That-
everybody knows.
it's
for
sold
sure.
on municipal for $8,700.
Yes, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so significantly more than what folks had worked to get for it, so.
That was a home run.
It was a $1,500 reserve and it sold for $8,700. And Lisa and I were watching the bids come up and
It was like
last 5
bingo,
minutes.
man. We were
It
sitting
was
there
like
Lisa will have
5,000,
popcorn.
What?
8,700, it was crazy.
They're now looking for other things to sell, just so.
Yeah,
I didn't say that, I said, what else can we sell around here?
Auction it off.
We're gonna be auctioning off these chairs in a minute, but it was exciting. It was like bing, her computer was going bing. It's like, what? It was incredible.
Anything else?
No.
All right, now we're gonna go into new business. We already covered, hiring our superintendent. Now, the next one is a motion to accept change order number 2 for the road paving project with Northeast Site Contractors, cost reduction of $39,603.10.
I'll make a motion.
And that's what you were discussing just
That's
5 minutes ago,
That's
so,
correct.
all right. So Jack
Second.
makes the motion, Lisa seconds the motion. Any discussion on, accepting the change order number 2 specifically?
It's not
All right.
Jamie this
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, so next is a motion to accept payment application number 1 from Northeast Site Contractors in the amount of $109,349.38. Letter recommending payment is attached to the engineer's report, but you already described it.
Yep, I'll make that motion.
All right, so Jack makes the motion. We have a second?
I'll second.
Derek seconds the motion. Any discussion?
That will be paid out of the liquid fuels account, just so everybody knows.
Both of those, right? The 39,000 and the 100.
The 39,000
That's the
cost
cost
reduction.
reduction.
Oh, that was the reduction, correct,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right. So, any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, so Motion, next up is a motion to approve the increase for the crack seal project due to overages of 40 gallons of materials. The increased cost was $1,235.60. $29,036.60 was due to asphalt maintenance solutions to be paid from the liquid fuels account. So this is probably two motions, but, all right. So one
It could
is.
just be a motion for it to pay that amount to the asphalt, recognizing that it's an increase of that amount.
Okay, and that's what it is, right? It's not more than the 29?
No, I think the 29
No, the
includes.
29 is the
Includes
total
it?
now. It was
Okay,
20, it
so-
was 27,801, and with the 1,235, it's 29,000.
So
So I
we
think by motion, approving
need
the
a
29, you're.
We're just approving the increase.
to approve and pay the increased amount, the new amount of $29,036.60.
Yep.
So who wants to make that
I
motion?
so move.
Jack makes the motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Derek seconds the motion. Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Motion, we need a motion to set a date for a public meeting for budget 2024, suggested work session, special meeting on November 15th. Lisa, you wanna?
Yes, I'd like to make the motion that we, utilize our November 15th work session to, review and discuss the upcoming budget for 2024.
Which has to be advertised, so we need
Yeah.
to vote on that, right?
You just have to authorize me to advertise it as a
Okay.
special meeting.
In one motion or two motions?
Just a motion to
Motion to
authorize.
schedule and authorize our solicitor to advertise a meeting for November 15th as a official budget review
Okay, so
meeting.
Lisa makes the motion. We have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Derek seconds the motion. Do we have any further discussion on making that meeting November 15th and advertising for that special budget meeting? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I just make a budget comment.
Mhm.
Is that, so if you have a meeting on the 15th, it's just to discuss it, you need to advertise it for inspection on or before the 23rd if you plan to pass it at your December meeting.
By the 23rd,
Yeah, because it has to be available for inspection for a
Yes.
period of 10 days.
10 days for inspection, okay.
And if there's a tax increase, then you will need a special meeting in December.
Right.
Tax increase. So you could put it on the next agenda already, so this way we'll discuss it and it should be ready.
Well, do we need to make a motion for that advertisement for the
You will
inspection?
have your meeting on the 15th
Mhm.
is a public meeting, so at that meeting,
We can make a motion.
You can make a motion to authorize me to, advertise that the budget is available for inspection.
Okay, thank you.
So you just put it on the, Allison, if you could put it on the
On the
next agenda.
special meeting,
No, the agenda for our public meeting,
For
Which is your
15th.
special meeting on the
which
15th.
is
The
a special
15th,
meeting.
Jamie.
on the 15th.
Yeah.
Yep,
It'll
got
be
it.
on the 15th.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
And the passing is on your December
On the
meeting,
December meeting, okay, so that, the motion to pass it,
would be on the December meeting.
got
so
it.
that's what goes on, all right.
November is to advertise the inspection of it.
Okay. Got it. All right,
Ahead every year.
okay. Discuss 2024 annual charitable contributions.
Okay, there was a suggestion brought up to include the Rebel stage in our charitable contributions. And also, even out our charitable contributions to $250 for each of them. So they wouldn't be one for this and one for that and one for the other. So it would be $250 for, if we vote for Rebel Stage, $250 for Awesome, and $250 for Pocono Arts Council. And we've already discussed it, we're, budgeting has not been passed yet to assist the cemetery, because that's charitable. So I need to make a motion, or if anyone wants to discuss it, to include the Rebel Stage in the $250 allocation.
Want to explain the rebel stage so people understand what that is?
Who can best explain the rebel stage, Terry?
Well,
Is that?
Exactly.
yeah,
Yes, it's our theatrical
it's,
organization.
I made the suggestion
Yeah, you
because
did. Go
it's, it's part of the community. They have a camp for kids, the kids in our community. They put on plays and shows and they do all sorts of stuff for the holidays. And they rely 100%, Zach would probably be best to tell us about it, but it's 100%, they run on 100% on contributions. And it's a good cause. And it's in the borough. So.
Yeah, it's a really good cause. The kids they perform, kids in the neighborhood, it's really well done.
Yeah, I've seen a
And
couple of
kids from out of the
performances.
neighborhood.
Really good, and
Kids
some,
that don't live in the neighborhood also.
And also,
Yeah,
right,
it's
From all over.
really well done.
but it's, home base is in the castle, and, they're looking to, grow and offer more programs in the borough, so
Yeah.
I think it's, a well-worthy candidate for charitable donation.
So by evening it out, Lisa, what are you talking about, $250 to Austin, $250 to this?
And 250 to Pocono Arts.
Is that the same amount that we're at right now?
I think we were giving more to,
Awesome, was getting 500.
Okay, so we're gonna take, basically, we wanna take half of that and give it to the Rebel State,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
That's the
So the
suggestion.
amount doesn't change.
Do we make a
Correct.
motion on that?
I'm making the motion to,
Okay. I'd like to.
So,
Derek, Lisa makes a motion, Derek second.
understood, so it's a motion to do two things, right? It's a motion to have 3 charitable organizations that we give $250 to.
yes,
Is that correct?
yes.
Okay, so Lisa
I-
makes that.
No, it's 4.
I guess my only consideration is that it makes sense for that to be your intent, but you're doing the budget.
Mhm.
And so if you're looking at the budget, if you mention now that you're gonna give those amounts and then you get to the budget and you're like, oh, well, I don't know, I think we need whatever, and you decide to cut those amounts, you're just making a motion and then changing it. Since you're doing your budget, I think you can say that that's your intent, but the budget's ultimately gonna be what approves where your money is going.
True. I think we just need to make the motion because Rebel has never been included.
Okay.
So it's not been
I
one of
think,
our
I think it's more
annual.
discussion and then it gets passed when you pass the budget.
Okay.
My only concern is, so say you approve that today, you haven't approved the budget, and so when you actually go to do the budget, if you decide that you need $500 from somewhere and you
I'll
take
snatch
it
it
from
from
the
the kids.
charitable donations, I mean, if something's gonna go, that might make the most sense, and now you've just approved something, then when you go do the budget, 2 weeks later, you're taking it away, and so to me, it just makes sense. The conversation is helpful, but then you actually approve it when you do your budget.
Okay.
Alright, so are you withdrawing the motion?
So, I'll make the motion to include Rebel Stage in our list of charitable
That's
organizations.
fine.
That
Okay.
makes sense?
Alright, so Lisa makes that motion, and did I hear Bill say he seconds that motion?
Aye, second.
Okay, so Bill seconds the motion, and we have any further discussion on that? Alright, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, they are added to our charitable contribution list. Next is newsletter, Mayor Frischkorn.
So when the newsletter came out years ago, it was meant to be an upbeat thing. It was meant to kind of show the town what things that had happened over the last quarter and things like that. It's always been a great thing. When Ileana was here, she had asked me if I would do a small section, it's called the Mayor's Corner, just talk about some of the events and things like that happening in town, which is great, and I started doing it, and I've really enjoyed it. This quarter came out, and I hadn't even had a chance to read it, and I started receiving phone calls and texts about why Jamie had attacked or took a swipe at me and Chief Yakubik, talking about the police had always, every police department, every policeman has this opportunity to do their own training online at home. It was easy, it's easy for them, and at the time that we did it, we were going through COVID. We were allowing a lot of our employees to work from home, and so we were also allowing the police department to do the same. I read it, I was a little offended, but you gotta have thick skin sitting up here. I was prepared to let it roll off my back until Mike called me. Mike somehow or another read the newsletter, I don't know where he got it from. He was highly offended. He said he didn't like his good name being used to attack me or our prior chief, Kubik. And I agree. I think Mike was a great chief. Mike stayed neutral. It didn't matter anybody's party or anything like that. And he was highly offended by that. And I think that's what bothered me. So I wanted to talk about it tonight. I actually just wanted to ask council if they would take some kind of action to limit or even take him away from even making any comments at all on the newsletter. The moment you do these little things, they start to grow and things get worse. And that is not what this newsletter was meant to do. It was meant to be upbeat. It was meant to just talk about what was going on in town and what is going on in town. So I'm asking council to take some kind of action or do something. Cause it's just gonna get worse. Mentioning anybody's name, dropping innuendos, or insinuating anything is not the right thing to do, and that's not the forum for that.
I agree.
So, I'm asking council to take some kind of action tonight.
I'd just like to say he did and set out what he wanted to do. He made himself front and center, Xeroxed them and sent them out as campaign literature.
Yep.
You know, it's like too late. It happens and then we all have to clean up after him. It's been like this since he's been on council. And Mike was really, really upset and it really wasn't right. And to take a swipe at the mayor wasn't right either.
But, and I'm here thinking, wondering, maybe that's why we don't have a police force right now, except for one.
That's a good point.
Tap those fingers.
Borough Council, do you guys proofread the newsletter at all before it goes out?
Not typical.
Everyone is free to write anything they want to.
No.
No, it should be
not
by
what you
Okay,
write.
which way? We have one more item on the agenda.
No,
There's
we're not
We're
done
not
discussing
discussing
this.
it.
Motion, we
I'm
can
not
we can
finished.
discuss it.
We're not
He's
done.
not
I'm not
finished.
finished.
Please.
I'm asking council to take some kind of action tonight.
Larry, I read it and I saw no issue with it.
Of course
and I don't
you
know
did.
why-
Of course you
course you
didn't.
did.
We don't expect you
Wait,
to.
Because you are
Let me
against the police to
finish
begin
my
with.
sentence. We're here to work through the agenda. I say we just keep moving through the agenda, that's what we're here for.
And I
I
asked
read it, I didn't know what you were gonna talk about tonight, but it's like, okay, he's got
It was
something going on.
whatever was in there was
Talk about-
100%
I was
factual.
offended.
It was
I was
transparent.
offended, and I let it roll off my back until Mike called.
Nothing that comes from you is 100%
And I
transparent
think it's
ever.
wrong. I don't think anybody should be talking about anybody on that newsletter.
Nope.
It should be just about what's going on.
Correct.
And I don't like what this guy did, or I don't like what that guy did.
There was no opinions, it was just factual what was going on. And
It
that's
doesn't
all it is.
matter. You didn't need
The
to say
newsletter is
anything
very
about it.
laudatory towards everyone who does
It was
something.
a
But
good.
you did it for your
was a day.
benefit.
Either which way, regardless, there's no action on here. You wanted to discuss the newsletter, we discussed the newsletter.
I'm
You've
asking
done it
council-
ever since you've
There's
been
no
the
motion, there's
president,
nothing,
which should never
if you
happen.
have anything proposed, it should be on here. Any
I'm
action has
asking
to be
council
here.
to
Larry,
make
that's
that
a, what you're saying is a blank statement, you're saying nothing to say, I want council to take. You have to have something to.
I can't make
move on.
motions. I'm
Yeah,
a
but
mayor.
there's really nothing for us to.
You can
to
make a
say.
motion to have him removed from writing things on that newsletter. If that's how he's gonna act, cause maybe next
Or
quarter
have
he
it
attacks you.
proofread.
I don't.
Maybe
Have
next quarter he
council
attacks somebody
proofread
There
it.
else.
was no attack in that. It was
I didn't-
100%
I didn't-
factual about a
I was-
good thing that our chief of police did.
Yeah.
And it was,
The
the
chief of
public
police-
deserved to know
Oh,
that he did that. It was his first executive order as the
But he
chief of
did
police.
not do that.
Okay.
I did that.
Either which way.
He came to me and
Right.
talked to me.
Either
How
which
come your
way.
federal lawsuit that you got going against the town and yourself is not in the newsletter?
All right.
No,
We're
answer
gonna move-
that.
we're gonna move
Answer that
along to the last
question.
bit of item on the.
No, Derek, shut your mouth.
I meant that. Come on.
God.
Alright.
So council's not gonna do anything about it.
I'd
You
like
can
to
talk
say
somebody.
that I don't see an actual action that, well, there's no motion set and an action set for us to take an action is some disciplinary action. What I would like to say as a council member is that we continue to work to be professional in the way that we manage and represent our council together, each other, and our community. That if we have something that we think is not, that one of us is not doing right or could be improved upon, that we find the professional way to discuss it within the council, first of all, if not foremost, to discuss it amongst ourselves. To not utilize any public communication that's meant for informational or alerting you to activities to vent any animosity or any differences with each other. That we strive to be seen as professional adults, because unlike tonight, where the news cameras are not here, we are representing our community, and we do not want our community to be seen as a bunch of clowns, unprofessional, or immature. And I think all of us, the best we can do is make an agreement as elected officials and representatives of our community to discuss our differences or our disagreements with whatever one of us is doing with each other. The community has the right to vote us in and vote us out and provide information that is needed for the betterment of the community. That is what I will agree to do, and I would hope that everyone else would do the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you agree? Would
The
you
problem
agree?
is though, it gets put out on the newsletter, and then it comes to
too late.
this.
Right, it's too late.
after that.
Why-
What I'm asking is that we do not use community informational avenues to vent any disagreements or dislikes of actions by others.
I agree.
That's all I'm asking.
Well, why can't the council proofread it before it actually gets published? Together, all seven of
To my
you.
recollection, and I've only been here, well, I've only been in this community for 10 years, I asked about the newsletter. The newsletter was usually, things were provided for the newsletter, and it's put together by Susan. Susan puts it together, and she creates a newsletter. Before I came on council, it was never a problem. It was an informational communication. It is not an official document for the borough. It's an informational communication. So if we can agree to be professional and be adult in the manner in which we represent our community, we have avenues to put out, we have meetings to talk and discuss differences with each other. The newsletter should be a community informational publication, and we should all agree to not manipulate it in any other manner.
I do know there were times when, there were some newsletters and there were some erroneous, I'm going back a long time ago, I can't remember. And there were some, Ally, pulled some stuff out, there were some statements about other issues that just weren't correct, and they were pulled out.
No,
But I
nothing's been
rely-
pulled out of the newsletter.
Well, it was something minor, and I think Susan did it too, but if there's something completely erroneous, we're gonna be notified about it. I mean, it's never been.
Derek, that newsletter has been used as a political platform since Jamie came on this council, to the point where he Xeroxed all of the newsletters, he self-promoted himself and sent it out as campaign literature. That should not be done. This building should not be done for campaign ads. He had a videographer in here that he lied to, telling him he was a Republican to get him to do it. We're talking about this building belongs to the people, the borough of Delaware Water Gap. It should not be used as a personal political platform. We are talking about that. That's what he did with the newsletter, Derek.
Okay.
And if you'd like, I'll go over each and every one of them with you and point out.
I think we're all up here as volunteers.
That's it. We're all doing the best we can, trying to get as much information in the public's hand as possible. We're trying to be transparent.
Yours is
and
your
accountable,
information.
and
It's
that's all that the
biased,
newsletter
Jamie.
is. It's
Everything's
informative.
about you.
And
I have a question for the mayor.
the executive order that the chief Staccato issued was a great order. I mean, working from home as a police officer, it's like.
Then you
working
should
from
have
home
just
is a
said that without
nightmare.
taking
I
a
don't
swipe at
understand. It
Andy
doesn't
and
make any
Larry.
sense. But either which way, it's over and it's done with, we all have our
Right,
title
that's what
tonight,
you
whatever
do,
we
you
want
do it,
in
it's
the
over,
newsletter.
and then we have to clean up after
And
you.
now we have one last thing on the agenda.
Well, how many swipes have you made, Larry, in the 6 years you've been on?
All right.
Because
There
that's
there
not,
was no swipes,
that's
but
not
neither
the
was
form
swipe.
to do that, that's not what we do. And
I guess
it
I'll
was
bring
not
the
an
swipes to
executive
the
order by
next
Chief
meeting.
Staccato. Chief came to me and asked me, because he was being basically pushed by him. And I said, listen, COVID is over, it's probably okay to let that go.
We have a
and they
computer
can
in the
come
office here. Anyone, the officers could train in the office, correct?
So the officers trained.
So if there's an incident in the borough while they're training in the office, they're ready to come out, ready to react to that
It
problem.
doesn't
Working
matter.
for home for
The mayor's
police
talking.
It doesn't
is a
matter.
license to steal.
Okay,
That's
all right,
basically what
enough.
it boils down to.
doesn't-
And we ended that, it's over. That's it.
Let the mayor finish.
No, he stated what he was gonna say, everybody he had a chance to comment on what he wanted to say about the newsletter. He asked for a vote for council did not want to make a vote, they had
Of course not.
the opportunity to make a motion, nobody made a motion, we're moving on to the next motion.
Next motion is to amend the agenda to, add add the repair work done to the Ford F-550. I need a motion to amend the agenda so that we could
I'll make
include that.
that motion to amend the agenda.
So Derek makes the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jack seconds the motion. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, now we need a motion to pay $2,450 to make the necessary repairs to the Ford F-550,
I will make that motion.
which was leaking, replacing the leaky hydraulic hose and replacing the leaking fuel tank. Derek makes the
And
motion.
this is an estimate, just so everybody knows, it's an estimate.
That's
All
all
right.
okay.
So we need to, up to including, no more than 3,000?
Yeah, if it's 2450, yeah, if you
Yeah,
wanna
two
feel
thousand
it.
four hundred and fifty was the estimate
For
that they
repairs,
gave us.
not-
Koch Ford, and it's Koch Ford.
And that's both repairs, so
Yeah,
it's
Both-
already.
that's
both
for
But you could say
repairs and
not to
labor.
exceed something to give a little leeway.
Yeah, just in case there's a problem and it increases.
Right.
So not to exceed, so a motion to approve, the repair work in an amount not to exceed $3,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
All right, so Derek makes that motion, leave a second.
I'll second.
All right, Bill seconds the
Is
motion.
there any discussion?
Any discussion from council first? Any discussion from the public?
The newsletter.
No, on the repairs to the truck.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, that concludes new business. Now we're on to old business. First thing on, the old business is a motion to adopt the Delaware Water Gap Standard Operating Procedures, which is over here. And spoke to both outgoing Chief Staccato and incoming Chief Fisher, and they both feel that this is fine. It was prepared by an attorney that we paid specifically just to draft them to be specific just to our borough police department and the needs of our borough. There are some things in here that need to be changed. It does say it's Chief Staccato in here, it should be changed to Chief Fisher, but other than that, there's a few other odds and ends, lunch hour breaks, things like that, which are not exactly what we do here, but either which way, I asked if you guys to take a look at it and review it. If anybody had any issues, if not, we'll just make a motion to accept them. Does anybody wanna discuss anything they saw, had issue with, take umbrage with, whatever?
I went through it, it looked good.
Yep, seems fine to me as well.
Just update the names to Chief Fisher. that's
I
all.
think I can do that, I think I have a Word document, but
Okay.
am I able to do that then? Okay.
Yeah, so we make a motion to approve the Delaware Water Gap Police Standard Operating Procedures with the amendment to change the chief's name from Chief Staccato to Chief Fisher. I'll make the motion. And we have a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
And Derek seconds the motion. And any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Do we have to do anything with regards to that? No, right? It's all good. All right, done. Next on old business is fireworks
I don't think
ordinance.
there's anything, the next three items are things that I have, and I don't have anything to report at this meeting regarding
All
that.
right.
And I will just say for fireworks ordinance, I did meet with, zoning officer Mike Mancher 2 different occasions. And I will write up some suggestions and provide them to the solicitor for the instructions you've given me. So that we can come up with something.
Sounds good.
All right, and we don't have any police advisory committee meeting updates, and there's no portable speed hump or bump, because that's a Zach thing. And we're on to committee reports.
Can I ask about maybe your Cherry Valley Road water line?
That would be,
Water committee.
it would be more of a litigation issue, so, I mean, if you want to discuss it with council.
There was an email update.
Okay, well, I'm principally concerned, did the letters go out?
They went out,
They went out.
and
How productive was it?
one was sent to, one of the owners has counsel, I've spoken to that counsel, has not been able to speak to his client, not heard from, there's 3 letters that went out, have not heard from one of them, and I spoke to one of the homeowners today. I need to follow up with
And
Missy
then how
regarding that.
long before we take this to the next step?
That's up to council, which is what, it's litigation issue, so if you wanna talk about how quickly we go to a next step, then we'll need executive session to go into that.
I think we're good.
Well, I think we might wanna do that if,
Yeah, let's talk about
Yeah.
talk about that in executive session.
Okay. All right, so we'll have an executive session on that. Cherry Valley Road water line project. All right, committee reports. Open, who would like to, anybody want to take over on a committee report? Make a committee report.
Budget's already pretty much reported, our scheduling and what we're planning to do. Special projects, I thought the Makers Market was great. And, the weather held out, and the cemetery folks did great, so hopefully, we can do something else like that again annually, cause I think she said first annual.
Okay, thanks. With regard to, I guess, sanitation and COG, I attended the last COG meeting, I think, which was, last Monday, and the, somebody from Municipal Waste Authority?
Waste
Management Authority?
No, it's, Waste Authority, excuse me.
Waste
James,
Authority.
the executive director
Yeah,
there. at
James
Waste-
Lambert
Yeah, at
was
Waste
there,
Authority.
and he was discussing the 904 grant
Yes, I received the information
that
today.
people with an organized recycling program like we do are entitled to, where they give us grant money, which is unallocated, like we can spend it on anything. So we're gonna apply for it in 2024, Mr. Lambert's gonna walk Allison through it, and hopefully we'll be able to get, apparently it's quite easy to get, all we really have to do is have a organized recycling program, which we do, and then we get reimbursement of some of the money we allocate towards that, in lieu of this 904 grant. So we're gonna be working on that, and hopefully we'll be able to use that to do something, good for the borough. Anybody else with a?
From a water standpoint, big thing now is the lead service line replacement program. So we are required by October of 2024 to provide an inventory sheet. So we're pretty much on target with that right now. So we're up to 176 properties completed on the spreadsheet. I got about another 70, 80 to go. We're on target.
Anybody else? All right, now, public comment on non-agenda related items. Who would like to go first?
My name's Iron.
Then you can go first,
Okay.
Marty.
Come on.
Well, right now I see 5 enablers and 1 user.
Thank you.
I think you guys forget being bullied in the newsletter about the budget and their $400,000. And you're just gonna keep letting it go. It's silly.
That was exactly my comment. You guys really let him get away with this, and then you sit up there like, Jack's not running again, you're not running again. There's no reason either of you couldn't have spoken up because you have nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing. He bullied you, he marginalized you, and you let him continually get away with it. It's like you don't stand up for what's right in this town, and we're supposed to sit here, vote for you, and put our support behind you, when you can't even put your support behind common decency. Yeah, I know you don't understand that word, because you're far from common or decent.
Anybody with another comment, concern, issue? Marty, you went right, Tim, go.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to state that, you said everything was factual, but the problem is you have the willful disregard for all the facts.
Right.
And that's important in that particular last, newsletter, when you use Mike, and obviously he was upset, so you didn't even ask him what he thought of that. And, we don't even wanna go back to the bullying with the budget, but, so, that's all I've seen is this disregard for all the facts. You can't just cherry pick, I know you can in your job as a lawyer, and that's what you're supposed to do, but it doesn't work here.
Next comment, question, concern, issue.
Yeah, where's Channel 13 today?
So I was randomly looking at some lawsuits, and I came across the federal lawsuit against the borough, naming you specifically. Just curious why that wasn't in the newsletter?
Why the public wasn't informed of it, since we are taxpayers. It's our insurance that will have to pay for a settlement.
Any other comment, concern, issue?
No comment for that one?
No, of course not.
We'll let the solicitor comment on that if she wants
It's
to.
an ongoing litigation, insurance defense has been hired. There's no update, nothing has been filed other than the complaint.
And are we allowed to talk about it and discuss it?
It's a public case.
Well, the fact that the complaint has been filed is public, it's
That's
public
it,
knowledge.
but
I mean, that's
can
the
we
status
discuss
of it.
any details about it?
How about what do you?
And
That's
does people
gonna
know
cost the
this?
borough.
Yes, you know this. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Get it, Howard.
I want to see where we're at with the engineering bidding.
Oh, that's a good question.
The-
Before I run
the-
that, actually.
Form is all together, you did send the LSA grant, so I will add that information, and I'm sitting at a polling station tomorrow, so I'll add that line in, and then it's ready to be advertised.
Excellent, yeah, I just want to see where you're at, if you need anything else from me, just let me know.
No, I just needed a more general description of the project, and that will come from what you gave me.
Okay.
So I can update that tomorrow and send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? Get it.
Yeah, so earlier this year, I think, the borough filed some, something in court about Shepherd Court properties, if you remove the materials. Right? I wonder, like, is there any chance that, maybe township can remove this? Because when we're gonna start having snow and to plow this, it's gonna be very difficult. Because the building material is stored very close to the edge of the property.
The zoning officer did state that the building material, that he had spoken to her regarding moving the building materials out of the right of way. We did discuss this at last meeting. There was a judgment entered and that we are moving that to the court of common pleas and assessing a fine, and hopefully that will help to move her along.
But if she's not doing anything, can the town just move it and then put a lien on her property or something like that?
We would have to file a separate action to do that. And so my understanding was that it had been moved, and so I'll check with Mike Mantor as to the status of that, cause he said that was the last that I was told from her, that it was being moved from the right of way, so.
And as of today, or as of the last time you've seen it, it wasn't moved, right?
No.
No, I don't think it's been done.
Tim?
This question is for Lisa. At the last month you asked about the fire department's, change of the account from borough contribution account to, capital reserve account. I was just curious if you ever got an answer to that?
Sir,
I can answer that question. I actually spoke to Jim Ferrari about it, and he said that they were reorganizing the accounts, and that account was for capital expenditures and that's why it was renamed.
So when you say capital expenditures, does that mean that it can be used for equipment?
And it was used for equipment. The money for the, the new SCBA came out of that.
I thought you got a grant for that.
No,
The SCBA's, I thought you got a grant.
No,
we haven't gotten the grant yet.
we applied.
We applied for the AFG grant, remember?
But there was one grant you did receive for 10,000 for something.
That was for
Supplies,
QRS.
QRS.
Oh, QRS, I get my acronyms mixed
Yeah.
up. Okay.
That's the quick response service.
Anybody else?
So to follow up on that, go ahead.
Yeah, so, does anybody know what's going on with the post office? Because, so a month ago, they like opened up the floor, and,
Still
you
open.
know, they put like no guardrails, they just put like do not cross tape, but, you know, children can fall in there actually, if they play and push each other. Or you can drop your wallet or key in there.
My
or you
mail
check
went
it.
down there.
You can drop something in there. And I think it violates some kind of a hazard for even
Safety.
employees who work there, some occupational hazard. And also it's a safety of the public. And so I think since we have the zoning officer, maybe zoning officer can go and check since it's on the township property. Give them violation or
The way to do that is to email him. We can't direct the zoning officer to do anything, he's a separate entity. It's not within our purview, but if you send him an email saying, or making a complaint about it, he'll go investigate.
It's considered a federal building, from what I understand, the
But we
zoning
don't know
officer
that, like,
cannot do anything about it, is that
no,
correct, Larry?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Well, if it's a federal building,
They
like
lease
how,
it, they don't
okay,
own it.
how come the
It's-
federal
it's on federal.
government can give 100 billion to like Ukraine and Israel cannot fix its own floor in the post office?
I would make a complaint to the zoning officer.
You know?
Or to
the
OSHA,
US
just make a complaint to OSHA.
The building itself is not federally owned, the building itself is
It's
privately
a
owned.
private, it's owned by a
It's
private.
not
entity.
trouble with that, it was privately owned.
I know
they should fix it.
Yeah, if it's privately owned, then you
It
should
is.
send some to the owner, a letter, say fix it.
Alright, anybody else?
So to follow up that question with the borough contribution account, that is still the tax money going into that?
As far as I'm aware,
That
that's where it's
changed-
still
that
going.
changed
I'm
to
not the
capital
treasurer,
reserve.
Jim's the treasurer, but I imagine that still goes in there. I don't know if it does or not, doesn't honestly. But I don't know if anything's changed.
I just think it's weird that it changed its name.
Alright, anybody else? Any other questions? Concerns, comments?
Oh, the roads
I
are good.
got
The roads are
lots
good.
of comments.
Okay, did you have anything else?
Just with the SOPs, you're changing the name of the chief, does it have to specify the name of the chief? Cause I know the fire department doesn't specify a name of the chief.
The only reason why it
I don't know if
does
that
is
was a law
because
thing or-
there's
I know
there's
it's different than
administrative
ours,
things
but-
like, and the administering of oaths and things like that, and the chief is the one who's responsible for giving this to the officers,
Right.
to making sure that they read it and that they comply with it.
Yeah.
So that's why the chief he's the responsible party.
Well, I understand
Those,
that.
and those changes can be made each time
Every
a new
time.
chief is without having official action.
Okay,
That's like administrative kind of change that
Okay.
doesn't need a reapproval every time you change the chief's name.
Anybody else?